sports coach, nutrition coach, life coach, executive coach. Coaching is a really big idea here. Look at almost any area of life, and people are jazzed about the coaches that they work with to improve in that particular area. One, which is hits pretty close to home for us, is financial coaching. And today we're going to talk about what financial coaching is and a program that Credit Canada offers called Credit Canada Gold. Joining us now is Becky Western-Macfadyen. She is the financial coaching manager at Credit Canada, and she's in St. Catharines, Ontario. Hello there.
Hi, Bruce.
Okay, so the admission, I think, for all of our listeners should be that you and I have been working on financial coaching and financial coaching programs for coming up on 2 years. So to say this is a passion project for both of us would be the understatement of the century. Is that fair?
Yes, this is totally a dream come true.
That is fair. It's a dream come true for both of us to work on this stuff. Let's start with the definition. When we talk about financial coaching, what do we mean?
Financial coaching is a holistic approach to help people transform their financial situation. It's different from traditional counseling because in counseling, the value is in the advice. You're given all the ideas and options that you need to make a decision. Different from a financial coaching program where the value is in the result. So to use a sports reference here, the coach of the national hockey team is not there to give advice to her team. She's paid to have them win. That gives her a lot of latitude in the terms of the drills she assigns and how the players think about motivation, nutrition, sleep, and then she works with them over a longer period of time. So that applies to our financial coaching program. We don't just think about budgeting. We're talking about job searches and talking about money with family and addressing even mental health issues. So that means the program is unfolding over time.
Tell us about the why. So as I mentioned off the top, you and I have been working on this for almost 2 years. Why? What had this be a priority for Credit Canada?
We knew Canadians need this. We know there's more that we need to do to support people out there in getting out of debt and keep them out of debt. Financial coaching helps them learn those key financial concepts, but even more importantly, it helps them develop a sense of accountability for their financial life. And we're the experts at that, right? So we've been in the world of credit counseling for over 57 years. So
not you and I. I mean, you and I aren't a day over 37, but the agency has been around. Yes.
Yeah. So as such, Credit Canada is the experts on supporting individuals struggling with debt and their financial well-being. And over that time, we have certainly learned with all our experience that there can be a major impact for individuals who have access to financial coaching experience.
Let's talk about the who, what, when, where, how of the program design. So it's called Credit Canada Gold. It has a bunch of components. It's not just a classroom session. Take us through the specifics.
I'd love to. It's certainly not a one and done experience. So the Gold program has 6 virtual classes. There's 1 a week for 2 hours each. And we include a lot of topics in those classes, like you'd expect, like, budgeting and credit scores. But we also talk about other concepts like the purpose of money and understanding root causes of why participants are having a hard time. We talk about mental health issues, addictions, job loss, divorce. All of that is part of that experience.
It's got a real community feel to it. To tell us about the community dynamic that gets created.
Yeah, we focus on building that supportive, confidential community. There's no shame, there's no judgment, and there's lots of support. Now, each participant is actually assigned to a coach. So part of that experience is they receive a private 30-minute coaching call each week for 5 weeks. And that's the one-on-one experience of the program. The other element is that we actually partner everybody up as an accountability buddy. So an accountability buddy checks in with their partner just to see how they're doing with homework and any struggles they might be having, and even sharing some of the wins or insights that they're experiencing.
Homework? What do you mean homework? What kind of homework is required? And how long does it take?
The homework can take anywhere from about half an hour to an hour each week, depending how prepared you are coming to class. So the homework can be things like starting to gather your numbers around what your income is and what your expenses are and what your assets are. But the homework is also not just about numbers. It can be intangible things such as talking to somebody about money in your life or starting to work on some of the root causes that you've identified.
Who would you say the Credit Canada Gold program is best was developed for? I mean, if you've got $5 million in cash sitting in the bank and you're spending the winter in the Bahamas, this is probably not the program for you.
Right. That's a little bit beyond the scope of this program. So we are looking at the basics. And although we think every Canadian would benefit from this program is developed for individuals who are dealing with more consumer debt than they can manage. And that's things like credit cards and loans, lines of credit. And they're also willing and ready to be coachable. So therefore would benefit from new skills and making additional support or having additional support to make the progress they need to make.
How much does it cost? I mean, I know the answer to this, but I think our listeners would want to know too.
Yeah, for our participants, there is no cost. It is a sponsored program, which means we are receiving sponsorships from our generous donors to allow our participants to have that seat.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Everyone who's admitted into the Credit Canada Gold program receives a scholarship. So it's like, it's a $1,500 program in which they don't have to pay a penny, which is pretty spectacular. You and I have been in the room with these participants for a long time now, but I'd love it if you gave our listeners a bit of context in terms of the benefits that participants would describe, both in like dollars and cents, and also in terms of how it makes them feel.
Absolutely. So we do think about those benefits as numbers and words. So the numbers, what we've seen is after 3 months of being in the program, the average debt reduction is about $6,400 per person. That represents an average reduction of 19% of debt, which is phenomenal. And that's debt that would not have gone away if they weren't taking actions that they took within the program. We also see a lift in credit scores. So on average, we're seeing an improvement of about 4%, which is impressive considering that scores take a while usually to start shifting.
What about words? What would they say? Can you give us an example of a participant who described their benefit that may transcend numbers?
Sure. So beyond the numbers of changing, what they're paying in interest rates and how much debt they've paid down, some of the things we've heard, I'll give you a couple of quotes. One is, my proudest accomplishment is being able to talk about finances with my husband and still leave the conversation happy with each other. Right. We are now trying to have a weekly date when we discuss our finances. And I have one other, which is my absolute favorite that just came in recently from one of our participants. The program made me take a good look at my spending and make changes. I decided to sell an expensive trailer I was still paying for. The advice of my coach was vital in making me get rid of that frivolous debt. I launched a new product for my business and started to invest my excess money in saving even for a vacation with my family. One of my goals was to manage my money to actually have time with my family. This course taught me to be more aware of my financial resources and stay out of debt.
Nice. And we have the pleasure and privilege of keeping in touch with people over the course of many months and now years, and can see the cumulative benefits that they report. Now, Credit Canada, in a partnership with Capital One, is offering female-only cohorts, a cohort being like a group of people who participate in the program together. Why female only? What's different in that program versus if it was open to anybody?
Lived experience plays a major role in our relationship with money and how we behave with money. By having these specialized cohorts, we can actually, first of all, provide a safe space for participants to talk about their shared lived experience. And secondly, focus on what collective support they might need in that cohort. So that's really important to be able to design it that way.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, people's interest is piqued here. So where can they find out more? How do they find out more about Credit Canada Gold?
I'm excited to share this. They can actually go to our landing page for it at www.creditcanada.com/gold to access more information and access the application form to apply for our January program.
I love that you use www there.
No one does that anymore.
Very
right?
2004 reference.
Yeah,
I think people know that they can go to creditcanada.com. I'm teasing you. creditcanada.com/gold. And we offer these programs throughout the year. But get moving. Go to that website, check it out, and apply. Thank you very much, Becky.
Thanks, Bruce.
Becky Western-Macfadyen is the financial coaching manager for Credit Canada. She was here to talk about Credit Canada Gold, which is a pretty extraordinary, innovative financial coaching program that really brings a holistic approach to help people get out of debt so they can get back into life.